Hi guys, I'm back with another video for you today. This time I'm using a bunch of Lawn Fawn products. I use the Charge Me Up set, Beep Boop Birthday. I'm showing Dad and me, but I didn't use it. Really High Five and A Birdie Told Me. I am using Beep Boop Birthday, which is unfortunately retired and sold out on Lawn Fawn's website. However, I did not know that at the time. I really wanted to use the robot from Charge Me Up because he's so cute, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun if he had his robot friends with him for a birthday party? So I stamped them out too, and then guess what? Made the whole card, edited the card, and wrote my blog post. And when I went to link it up, that is when I found out that it was no longer with us. So I'm just sharing this card for a little bit of fun, and I still think those robots are adorable, and I just can't link to them. So sorry. Okay, so I wanted to use the glasses from Dad and Me on the robot because I thought that would be hysterical. However, as you can see, that does not work. Total fail. So I just stamped him out again and went about my day. Okay, so I had the sweetest, kindest person reach out to me and ask if I would do some real-time coloring for a video. And so I'm doing a little bit of real-time coloring, and but not all of it because that would take a long time. But I did sprinkle some in there. I started, of course, I'm using Zig Clean Color Real brush markers, and I started by spritzing some water onto my craft mat and then getting the water brush I use damp. I do keep my water brush empty. It's always empty. I just get the bristles wet by, using the water I spritz on the side. I started by using my platinum gray marker, platinum brown. I'm sorry, it's platinum brown. And what I do is I am coloring this with the shading in the middle. Like if your light source, if your sun, if whatever was directly on top in front, I'm not exactly sure. I didn't go to school for art. But I want the brightest to be in the middle of the robots. So I am coloring with my darkest marker just on the edges of my robot, and then using a damp, not wet, damp brush to draw out the color for the rest of the image. I just use gray for the head and the body and the feet. And then once everything had been blended out, I went in with the same platinum brown marker, did the same thing again, just a little bit of shading on the edges, and then this time I used a warm gray marker to pull that color out a little bit along the edges. It makes a little darker edge because I'm not using water that close. And then I get my water brush damp again, and then add a little bit of water to the center so there's not a harsh line between the very light gray and the center of the robot. I did the same thing for the head and the body, and the feet are tiny. This image doesn't have a lot to color, but it does show how I add shading by doing the same color a couple times. It just adds, it's not a little bit of a layer, I guess. I don't know. I am self-taught. Can you tell? So anyway, I colored all the robots the same exact way with the light source in the center. And so I cut the rest of that out. Otherwise, the video would be ridiculously long. It's a little bit of a compromise. And then I added some pink blush to the robot's cheeks. I used a pink and then a lighter pink to blend it out, and then just a tiny, tiny bit of the water brush. Water brush is not wet, it's just slightly damp. It just gets rid of the harsh water line between the two colors. And then I added rainbow. Rainbow, I don't know, for his neck and his legs and his little ears, if you want to call it that for a robot. I added a little rainbow look because I can't help myself. I'm always going to add a rainbow if I can. And then, of course, the little meter on his belly, I colored just like a blue, like it was glass. Next up, I am coloring the little stripes on the other robots. One is warm colors, so like oranges and reds, and a yellow for his little antenna. And then for the other robot, I use cools, so like a minty green and some blues. And that helps with the rainbow, guys, because I have a problem. I can't not do. Do you guys have colors that you always gravitate to when you're coloring? I do, and it's rainbow. Oh, I'm coloring these bows here. I don't end up using them because I didn't like how I colored them. And then I thought after I added the party hats, there was already a lot going on, and I didn't need them. And I'm going to slow down the video again when I color the balloon, the big balloon, because for a little bit of real-time coloring. You're welcome. Okay, so I'm using a pink color. This is the same pink I use for the blush on my robots, because, you know, robots blush, obviously. Then I used just a sliver of red, pulled that back out with my pink marker. That red is very, let's say, potent, for lack of a better word. And then after I pulled it out with the pink marker, I used my pale orange color to color the rest of the balloon, except for a tiny bit at the end. Then I used my water brush, which is, again, damp, not wet, not dry, just a little bit damp, and pulled out the peach color to the end. And then as you can see, I'm like, it's a little bit too much. I've lost my peach, so I'm going to add a little bit more peach. Take my water brush, get it wet, wipe it off on my paper towel or finger, and then pull out the peach color again. I'm going to blend out the red and the pink, and this is how I color all balloons. I always do the top right color in the lightest color. I don't know why, that's just what I do. Clearly, I am not anyone worth studying, since the robots have their light source in the center and my balloons have their light source on the top right. But I don't care. It is fun and it's how I like to color, so that's what I did. And as you can see for my last balloon, I just colored it the same way with some more peachy pinks, so that I have a red, a pink, and then a peachy pink. Sorry about that. I'm coloring the cupcake, which is something I did not use either. It went the way of the bows. I wanted originally one of the robots to hold the cupcake because it's a party, but I ended up changing my mind because there was a lot going on between the robots and the balloons and the speech bubble and the party hats and the balloon strings. There was just a lot going on, so I thought, another day, cupcake, another day. When I colored the party hats, I just did tiny little edges of color with the markers, and then used my water brush in the middle. I mean, these images are so small, there was like barely any coloring. Now we're going to make the background, and surprise, surprise, we're doing ink blending. I am using Distress Oxide inks because they blend like butter. That's not my term, but it's true. I use Blueprint Sketch, Peacock Feathers, and Cracked Pistachio. I don't have a blending tip pad, a foam pad. I don't have a foam pad for each color. As you can kind of see there, I use half for Blueprint Sketch and the other half for Peacock Feathers, and then this one I use half for Cracked Pistachio and the other half I use for Lucky Clover. I just share. I'm not picky. And honestly, when you're ink blending, the more color you have on your ink pad or foam pad, the better. That's what I found anyway. And then I thought it needed just a smidge darker of accent at the top, so I used just a tiny bit of black soot in the top left corner. Now I'm using a stencil I created with white cardstock and snowy backdrops die cover plate, I don't know how you say that. I just die cut it out of white cardstock and then used some white embossing paste and smushed it through like it was a regular stencil. Guys, something terrible happens here. I thought, wouldn't it just be so fun if this speech bubble said beep boop? But look what I did. I masked off the boop and then didn't remove the washi tape when I stamped it. What? Oh, talk about rookie mistake. So anyway, I end up fixing it. It's not that big of a deal. I use a white gel pen to to fix it, and then I end up actually tucking it behind one of my robots anyway, so you can't tell at all. But I could not believe I did that. That is that's me in a nutshell. Anyway, then I'm going to heat emboss the rest of the sentiment onto some black licorice cardstock with white, and then I am ready to assemble my card. See, there I go with my white gel pen. I am just covering it up. It doesn't look too bad, but like I said, I end up tucking it under anyway, and no one's the wiser. I'm so smart. Okay, now I'm using the Lawn Fawn glue pen to add on their little party hats, which is so cute. Party hats and blush on robots. I mean, what could be better? Nothing. And this, stay with me guys, because this is where it gets a little hairy, because I could not decide where I wanted these guys to go. So I'm playing with creating my scene, and then I'm just like, screw it. Let's just do it. Let's just stick these down. So I start with the banner and then tuck that little guy there. I'm still setting up, making sure everything fits. And I did some finicking, can't think of the right word, but finagling. I don't know. I tried out a bunch of different layouts, especially with those two balloons and the robot at the bottom of the screen that get cut off. Anyway, I really like how that looks. I wish I had remembered that's what I did, but I didn't, because when I take everything off to glue it, I don't remember. Nope. See, he's already on the other side. I'm already wrong. Anyway, I am gluing everything. The robot and the balloons are on foam tape for some dimension. Everything else, the other two robots and the strings and the speech bubble are all directly glued to the background. There's no foam tape on those. Here I am putting these cute little balloons back the wrong way with my little robot on the wrong side. I like how it looks. The only thing that bothers me is the white edge of those strings with the white edge of his little hands look the same, so it looks just like a lot is going on there. Oh well. In the end, I like how it looks. Okay, so putting my card together. Let's do this. I use some black washi tape on the side because I'm Sam. That's what I do. Then I'm attaching my card front to the card base. And look at it. I finished it. It's done. I ended up adding some stars to the bottom part of the card as well. You can see that in the final photo, and I really like how these little robots turned out. Thank you for coming on this crazy journey with me. I hope you guys have a great day and stay safe, and I'm thinking of you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.